Welcome to the Pitch Gladiator. This is our 6th Pitch Gladiator here at Prince George's Community College. Welcome to all of you that come out to hear our 12 competitors compete this afternoon. So we're going to get it started. Actually, let me just say my name is Ruth Lewis. I am the Program Director of the Hillman Entrepreneurs Program. This event is being sponsored by the Hillman Program, Capital One Bank, the Center for Entrepreneurial Development, the Financial Empowerment Center, and the Business Collegiate Center. To start us off, I'm going to introduce the MC for this afternoon. Our MC is June Evans. June Evans is the Director for Prince George's Community College Center for Entrepreneurial Development. She has over 18 years of experience developing and delivering educational development programs. The CED serves as an entrepreneurial hub and thorough and through an innovative capacity building curriculum. Prepares local entrepreneurs to take full advantage of business opportunities in Prince George's County and throughout the metropolitan region. Over the past 9 years, she has helped over 100 minority business enterprises improve their business infrastructure, process, and acuity. She continues to create innovative training and educational programs that foster collaboration, build partnerships, and facilitate growth. Please welcome June Evans, our MC for this afternoon.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. This is another Pitch Gladiator competition, so let me get another round of applause for this. I think every year we take it up a notch, don't we, Ruth? We take it up a notch every year. So I'm so glad to see all of your wonderful faces here to listen to our students as they pitch their business ideas. And before we get started, I'm going to introduce to you our judges for this evening or this afternoon. First, we have Professor Elijah Cooks. He is the Business Department faculty member here at Prince George's Community College. He has been a tenured professor for over 30 years. He currently teaches strategic management, financial planning and investment, international management, as well as many other business subjects. Those are just to name a few, and under his leadership and direction, he instituted several travel experiences within the United States and abroad. These travel experiences exposed our students and faculty members and staff to different people, cultures, and business professionals. Professor Cooks also served as the department chairperson for several years. This world traveler enjoys his college breaks at his home in Hawaii. I'm so jealous. Let's give Professor Cooks a hand. Next, you may recognize him from last year. We have Mark Lawrence. Mark is the founding and managing principal of a consulting firm called INNCUVATE, with offices in Washington, D.C. and Largo. Mr. Lawrence possesses over 17 years of Big Four firm experience in management and technology consulting, serving both the public and private sector. Prior to that, he spent 4 years in the engineering and operations department for 2 global telecommunication services providers during the advent and adoption of the internet. Let's give him a round of applause. Mark. Next, we have Mr. TREY Proctor. TREY is Vice President at GS Proctor & Associates, located in Prince George's County. GS Proctor & Associates is a lobbying and consulting firm based with offices in Annapolis, Upper Marlboro, La Plata, and Washington, D.C. GS Proctor & Associates provides legislative and administrative lobbying representation to a broad spectrum of clients, ranging from institutions of higher learning and nonprofit organizations to local and regional businesses, and finally to government on the federal, state, and local levels. Mr. Proctor earned a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing at Elon University, with an MBA at Capital Technology University. He lives in Akakeek, Maryland, with his wife and 2 beautiful baby girls. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, are you guys ready to hear from our presenters today? Okay, and presenters, are you ready? I don't think they sound ready. Are you ready? Okay, all right. So we're gonna start off with our first presenter for the afternoon. Can I have Dante McCrathey, if I pronounce that correctly? Dante is a general studies major, and he is here to present on his business idea called All-in-One.
How many of you all have seen the scooters that drive around, or the mopeds, or the skateboards, or anything that can be rented? So the problem I found with these services is that they all have their own apps. They all run on one network. They all run on one payment method, right? So why not combine that all into one? Why not have every rental service you can think of in any metropolitan area all in one app? All-in-one would be on a watch OS, phone OS. We all have these, right? To call our Ubers, Lyfts, so on and so forth. There are over 10 scooters active in Washington, D.C., and even more in states like California, so on and so forth. So all-in-one will be, I will generate revenue from all-in-one from advertisements on the actual app. The app will be free to all users, but there will be a paid-for version, so users can have an ad-free experience. The real pinnacle of all-in-one's edge, I guess you could say, is the information that it provides. All-in-one will give you the information on every single moped, every single thing that can be tracked, every single scooter, you name it, can be tracked, and you will... Give me one second. Yes. So all-in-one is a great. Excuse me. Sorry, you all. It's a lot easier doing this when there was no one in here. I was practicing earlier today.
Take your time.
All right. So all-in-one. All-in-one has an advantage over its competitors, I guess you could say, like Uber, Lyft, Lime, so on and so forth, because we provide all the information they need, whether or not you have the battery. Like when you get to a scooter and it's not charged, it's the most annoying thing. Because you see it on the app, you get there and there's only 1 bar of service, or one bar of juice left in the scooter. So all-in-one is a very innovative idea. Why not have everything all in one app instead of swiping through your phone? It can be a hassle at times, and if you don't have storage, it can also, be a hassle. I used to have a small gigabyte storage phone myself, so I'm sure some of you all can attest to that. That's all in one. Thank you.
All right, but great job, right? So again, it is pressure to go first. It is pressure to sort of pick up when you stumble in your script, but you still did an overall great job. So feel confident in that. My first question is, can you be clear who the customer is on this?
The customer is any one of the millions of people that use Uber, Lyft, Lime, Scoot, you name it, any rental brand. So instead of them going to their app, they would come to my app, and I would connect to all of these apps where they can now have the option to look through and select which one they want. So perfect example is, why would you pay 25 cents a minute for a scooter for Uber when you could pay 20 cents a minute for a scooter for Lyft, and you can see that it's charged with all the information on the app and know that it's only a block or walk away.
Okay. So how will you make money, right? Because consider it this way. Consider that your customer is the Uber and the Lyfts. If I can give you one platform, right, and you're going to offer it for free, you can help their back end, right? So I want you to think about your customer a little bit.
So think about how we can make money from the customer, or how we can make money from the
No,
company.
think about that your customer is not the end user. It's the existing scooter, Lyft, shared service providers.
Yes. So I'm still confused as to what you're actually asking me, because you're asking me how we can make money, right?
No, I'm asking you, For your customer that you identified, you said it's the end
Yes.
user. So you're saying the customer is Mark, right?
The customer is anyone that wants to use
Right.
a scooter.
So I'm telling you, your customer should be the Uber and the list of people that provide the scooters.
Yes. So Uber, Lyft, Lime, Scoot.
They would pay you to
They
use
would.
your app for consumer. Just consider that.
Yeah.
All right?
I had the same thing, because
Yeah.
you mentioned that you wanted to have an ad-free experience for the end user, and typically that would be a major revenue source. So I had the same question, so, yeah.
Just one before you ask your question.
Please.
To clarify, I'm not trying to get Uber and Lyft and all these other companies to pay me. I would just be utilizing their services, so a portion of what I would make would have to go back to them, because without them, I wouldn't be in business.
Right. So again, so what we're saying is instead of a portion of what you're going back paying them, if they're your customer, all the money goes to you. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you pivot your business, and we could talk after, but if you
Okay.
pivot your business model and look the other way, I think that's a more sustainable model than trying to aggregate and pay fees. That's
Okay.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dante.
Cool.
Just a quick question. Your customer, what is your target market? Who is your target market?
Anyone that already uses these scooters.
Anyone that already, so your objective is to increase your market share by taking away from your competitors?
Not taking away, these competitors would still be getting paid exactly the rate that they charge. I would then make money on top of the, ad revenue, or if they pay to use the app for free.
Okay.
Or not for free, to pay to use the ad-free version of the app.
Okay, and once again, just so I'm clear, how do you plan on promoting your particular service?
Making as much hype as possible. Social media would be a huge platform. Going out to DC, actually, DC is the closest metropolitan area, obviously. Going out, actually seeing what people would like, if they would be interested in it, receiving feedback, and spreading the hype around local metropolitan areas that the business would thrive in.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
How much time do you have?
2 minutes and 28
Oh,
seconds.
okay. How will you use the scholarship funds?
Oh,
We on the same page.
A lot of these scholarship funds will be used towards my books next semester at University of Maryland College Park, because I'll be out to paying out of pocket. I will plan on spending a lot of that on this business idea, because the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I know there are a lot of different ways I can pivot the idea. It originally started out as just an app for scooters, because when I went to DC, it was annoying I only had Uber, and there were only like Lyft and other scooters around. So I'm like, why didn't I just? I thought of the idea then. So textbooks
What's your major going to be when you transfer?
business administration.
Business administration, gotcha.
Oh, and a portion of that will also go to homeless people in DC, the charity in DC.
Thank you, Dante. As you can see, innovation can take place with anything and anywhere. So thank you, Dante, for your wonderful idea. Next, we will have Edward Tatcham. Edward is a computer science major, and he is here to introduce to you his business idea called Tatcham Organic Gas.
Hi everyone, my name is Edward Tatcham, and my company is Tatcham Organic Gas LLC. So what we do is we leverage biofuels worldwide. Back home in Cameroon, I'm from Cameroon, and I've only been in the US for not too long, so I clearly know the difference between living in Cameroon and living in the US. As of 2017, Cameroon's population stood at 24.7 million. Now, back in Cameroon, we have a lot of problems, but today I'm going to be focusing on two major problems. Unlike here in the US, anytime you want to eat something, you turn on the gas stove or the electric stove and you get your food. But back in Cameroon, be it breakfast, be it lunch, be it dinner, anytime you want to cook any of those, somebody has to go to the backyard into the bush and use a machete or an axe and chop down a tree. Break this tree down into little logs of wood and set up a fire pit on top of which you have to cook your food. This happens 365 times a year for almost 50% of the households in Cameroon. Now, the second problem, now think about the time it takes away from me doing my assignments, the time it takes from my mom to care for children. Think about the time, also the stress on anyone who's physically challenged, who has to go in the backyard and chop down this tree in order to cook. The second problem is waste management. Now, for most of us here, every time you use the bathroom, you don't know what happens to that feces. But back in Cameroon, every time you use the bathroom, it goes to this reservoir of feces in the back of your yard and sits there on service for many, many years. Now, I don't need to tell you the health implications of having feces sitting in the back of your house on service for many years. However, what Tachim Organic Gas LLC does is we're going to utilize this feces in conjunction with decomposable foods to produce usable gas that feeds into these households and allows people to cut on the gas stove and cook just like we do here in the US. That's the solution to waste management. Now, the third thing is we're going to be focusing on our target customers is going to be the government. It's also going to be hotels. Hotels have the same issue, huge reservoirs of feces sitting in the backyard on service for many years. So the government, hotels, apartment complexes, but most importantly, what Tachim Organic Gas LLC would do is put smiles on people's faces. Because with my patented technology of transforming gas, I would need to employ people to deploy these services, to do the marketing, and to use the technology. So Tachim Organic Gas LLC solves these two problems, but most importantly, also increases standards of living and also makes the life better for people back in Cameroon. Thank you.
Hey, Ed, nice to see you. Good presentation. So talk to me about competition. So your business is going to be focused on Cameroon, correct?
Absolutely.
And it seems you're in the waste management space. Talk to me a little bit about the competition and why your solution is different.
So as of now, people are learning about this process, but there is no one who does exactly what I'm trying to do. Now, in terms of industrialization of gas, some companies do it, but only the very rich can afford to buy this gas from them in order to use it in their houses. And that's why I'm targeting the government such that when I give them these services, they can give it to other people in the lower social classes at a very, very reduced price, or almost no cost. Does that answer your question? Yes. Awesome.
So are you proposing to create a localized to a community or household means of converting this waste into energy, or is this a larger infrastructure piece?
This is household to household because they have an almost infinite amount of feces sitting in the back of their houses. And also to speed up the process of gas production, we will also use decomposable foods that contain high carbohydrates as well. So it's household to household. But I intend for the government to be my direct customer because he could offer the services to these household owners who don't have a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So this would actually be like a standalone, essentially a standalone sewage system that would then convert it to energy, and then you can store this gas supply for later usage?
So what we do, Tachim Organic Gas does, is we have decomposers. Decomposers, yes, that would collect the feces, and it already has bacteria. So we decompose the feces, and with the help of these tubes, metal cylinders, it would transfer the gas into the house to a gas stove. So we produce gas in your household for your household using decomposers, which will be a patented technology. So we have the exclusive right of using that.
Gotcha. How are you going to make a profit?
Awesome. That's a great question. So when I was doing my research, I realized a lot of banks don't fund startups until the second year into business. So I'm hoping when I win this competition with the money, I would actually get a patent first. That would be the first step. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Cameroon either this summer or at the end of the year, and to start having samples of these decomposers made. And what I would do is plow back profit. So the first 2 decomposers I have, any profit that I make, I'm going to plow it back into the business until I get to a stage where I'll be making profits that can go back to me.
And the competitors? How are you going to offset your unique transformation to the competitors?
So you see, when you come with an innovative technology that no one has ever thought about, and you have a vision and you have a passion towards it, just that passion and the team of people I would surround myself with would offset anyone who is a competitor to me.
Okay.
Given the fact that no one does what I'm bringing right now in the country.
Are you going to promote this transformation yourself, or are you depending upon the Cameroonian government to promote it?
Good question. I have an entire team working with me. My brother is actually an international marketer, and I also have a lot of friends back home who are in med school, who are chemists. I have a friend who just graduated, and they're all going to help me to promote these through social media, through campaigns and social media. We're also going to partner with local media, and also, you know, just being an ambassador for what we're trying to do, because there's this energy revolution in the world, and we can't just sit behind and see other people do without us doing it.
And the patent, you said you needed to get a patent. Are you going to do it here in the States or what? How are you going to start this process?
Well, I would answer, but I'll also be very welcoming to advice from you, because I'm learning all this. I would say the state, it's a good way to get it, so I have backup in case, you know. But yeah, whatever way is best for me to get this patent, I'm going to get it and I'm going to keep going.
Okay, see me after,
Absolutely.
and I'll be more than glad to tell you about the USPTO.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, and I guess the rules change on these things every year. They get more abstract. So so decomposers cost X, installation costs Y, resources cost Z. What sort of financial model are you thinking about? Is it going to be some sort of subsidy? Because it seems like you're targeting, like you said, you know, people that can afford this is not who you're trying to target. So how would you sort of subsidize and create that at a conceptual level? Because I know this is just a pitch.
Yeah, everything is conceptual at this level. Right now, I did some research, and the people I'm hoping on the last are the banks and financial institutions. I'm hoping for partnerships with universities. I would launch GoFundMe campaigns as well, and just anyone who wants to partner, anyone who's interested in the initiative could always back me up, and that's how I hope to make money.
Okay.
Okay, so Dante told us that innovation can start with anything, and Edward just shared with us that innovation can happen anywhere. So thank you, Edward, for that. Our next presenter is Franklin Equi. Franklin? All right. He is here to present on his business idea called Spin Save.
My name is Franklin Equi. I'm here to talk about Spin Save. Majority of people are concerned about the debt they have to pay rather than the wealth they have to build. According to USA Today, they say that average Americans spend 90% of their income whenever they receive their paycheck. And this bad spending habit leads to poor saving habit. And this is where Spin Save comes in. Spin Save is created to help high spending credit card users and poor saving IQ individuals to save money while they spend on things they need and want. I'm looking forward to be able to solve this problem by using social medias and every other available platform for me out there to make sure I reach out to these individuals. I'm not expecting the 3 to 7.2 million people in the United States of America to invest, to use Spin Save to save money for themselves. But if I can capture 10,000 of this population, that would be a very good place for me to start. Because if I can capture the 10,000 times, how do I make money? Let me even start from there. I'll make money through usage fees. Whenever a customer spends and saves money, I'll make a penny. And let's assume I capture 10,000 population out of this 3 to 7.2 million. That means 10,000 times by 60, every time the customer makes a purchase within, let's say, assume the 10,000 population makes a purchase within 60 seconds, which is 1 minute, I'll be making about $6,000. If they should make a payment, and save money in an hour or 60 minutes, I'll be able to make $360,000. And just like I said, this is a business solution that is created to help people to come out from their debt, and I believe banks are my biggest strategies. And my banks are my biggest competitor out there. My strategy is better than them because I'll help my customers to stay consistent in their saving habit. And I believe that if you can spend every day, you can save every day. And once you start saving every day, imagine when you are saving every month, you're getting somewhere, but it's not really solving your problem. But if you are saving every day, how much do you think you're going to make at the end of the year? Depending on the amount of money you're trying to save every time you make a purchase and save at the same time. if I should win this money, it's gonna be very helpful for me because I'm gonna use it to pay for this boot camp. I want to go that's gonna teach me how to start, run, while retaining and acquiring my new customers. And I want to ask you before I leave, if you are busy paying every other person, when are you ever gonna pay yourself? Thank you.
You guys always want me to start. All right, so great presentation. So let me understand. So your business model is somewhere between a savings platform and like a Groupon. Is that a fair assessment?
It's not like a Groupon. It's like
In between. I'm not saying fully.
Yeah, in between, but it's more like with the customers, they're gonna come to when they come to my platform, like the website I'm gonna build. They're gonna select the amount of money they want to be saving anytime. It's gonna be integrated into their credit card. Whenever they pay for a bill, let me just make it very simple for you. It's gonna be like a task. You know how when you pay for a product or pay for a service, the government is gonna take their own tax, like 50 cents or something like that. That's how it's gonna be. It's like I'm trying to combat tax so that I'll help people to pay themselves before they pay government. So I want to put it that way.
So I wouldn't message it like that.
Right.
But that goes to my next
Right.
question. So consumer debt is big business, right?
Right.
So, the idea of saving, yeah, that's what we should do, but there's a whole $1 trillion industry on people having the opposite behavior.
Right.
How is your solution going to combat that?
I believe one of the biggest problem with people is not that they don't have anything to save. The problem is the discipline to save and the poor and the very bad spending habits. And if they can be able to acquire this discipline to save, they can get themselves out of the consumer debt they see themselves every day. And there's nothing that's going to give them this discipline except spend save, because it's going to make you to save money without you doing it yourself, but it's going to take money away from your account while you're buying the things you need and want. Because as you all see every day, people come out and create problems, and they also create a solution for you. So when you buy a problem, you go out there to buy a solution as well. So there's no way you can run away from consumer debt, but spend save is here to save you.
Thank you, Franklin. A couple of questions. One, how are you going to offset the competitors? I mean, there are a lot of competitors out there, as mentioned earlier. How are you going to, what makes your product or your service that you're offering more differentiated than the competitors and what they're doing?
I understand your question. You're asking what is your customer proposition? What makes it stand out? That's very amazing, because spend save is created to create a financial backup for you in case if anything should happen, because the more you save, the more you do this thing, pay for this stuff and save, the more you're making more money without knowing how much you're making. But at the end of the day, the money you make might be enough for you to be able to save you from the problems you might see yourself, unforeseen problems that might be coming your way. Banks only allow their customer to save whenever they receive their paycheck at some certain points. It may be like in 2 weeks or in a month, depending on how they agree with the customers and everything, right, which is not really safe for them, you understand? But if you're saving let me make it very easy for you.
Are they going to be saving with you and you have some account set up for something along those lines, or how are they going to save? Where are they?
So when they come to my website, like I explained earlier, when they come to my website, they're gonna select the amount of money they want to be saving anytime they make purchases, when they purchase a product or pay for a service.
Okay.
It's more like it's more like whenever you come back from your house, you declare that each day you come back to your house,
right,
you're gonna put like $10 in, maybe like in a small jar or in a small like kind of a container or something. You're gonna put like $10 every day. You come back for the day or end your day. Okay. So how much do you think you're gonna make in 6 months' time when you're contributing $10 in that container before in 6 months' time? How much do you think you're gonna be in that container in 6 months' time?
And finally, why should the customer trust you over, the more established and regulated banks and entrepreneurs that are out there, like Susie Orman, for example, and several other? Why should they trust you?
That's a very good question. I know it's kind of really hard when you start and trying to convince this customer to believe in the product or the services you want to give to them. But with my proposition to them and with my consistency in trying to make sure that I reach out to people that is going to give testimony to the to using my service and others, you should be able to convince them into getting to using my services.
How will the scholarship funds help you in your business?
Like I said, to really help me a lot because I'm going to use it and pay for this boot camp. This business boot camp that's going to teach me how to start.
You said a business boot camp.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you offer some of the things that you're going to discuss at that boot camp?
So I believe that in a boot camp, they're going to teach you how to start your own company, run your own company, and at the same time, they're going to, which is the most important part of the whole stuff in business, is to retain and acquire new customers. If you cannot retain and acquire new customers, their business is not going anywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Franklin. Next, we have Onimachi. Did I get that correct? If not, you can correct it when you come down here. Come on down. Azupuko. He is an engineering major, and he is going to present on his business, Pedans.
My name is Onimachi Azubuko, and my business name is Pedans. Pedans essentially checks for impedances within wires that are used within the medical field, any medical field. And that saves medical technicians a lot of time, it saves doctors a lot of headache, and it saves labs a lot of money, as well as hospitals. Now, a pedance is basically the quality of a wire. It's the ability of a wire to conduct an electrical current. And if you've ever been in a hospital, if you've ever been in a lab, if you've ever seen Grey's Anatomy, you know that there are a lot of wires that are used when people are treating patients. And those wires break down all the time. And it's not by accident. The people who produce those wires are actually making more money when they break down. So that's something that's called functional obsolescence. And what happens is they make more money, hospitals lose money, patients pay more money, and there are 6,210 hospitals that are losing money because of this, 16,366 neurologists, 23,000 cardiologists, and about 4,700 sleep labs. Now, what pedance does is essentially it's a customized impedance meter that simply checks to see if the impedance within the wire is below a certain threshold, below a tolerance that would make it acceptable for use in that medical, clinical scenario. And it's much better than the only major competitor, which is Chectrode, because Chectrode is bulky, it's expensive, you need to learn how to use it, you have to train people to use it, and that is not something that would save people, hospitals mainly, money. So I would have two products at 2 price points. The first would be one that's simple, customizable. It can be used by doctors within specific specialties to test for impedances. And then the second would be something similar to a Chectrode, which actually checks for the specific impedance and returns a number that essentially tells you the quality of the wire and whether or not it can be used within any given scenario. And that would be marketed towards research institutions. Now, I want to use this scholarship to actually pay for my tuition. I'm going to be taking a circus class at Maryland. I'm going to be actually learning how to put this type of thing together. And then I'm going to be able to use the money that's left over to market my idea. Thank you.
Good job, man. Very well thought out.
Thank you.
What would you say would be your major revenue source, direct
Major?
check to you?
Well, see, I worked in the medical field as a polysomnographer, and my main frame of reference is in working in sleep labs, and I know that like because of the way a sleep lab is actually structured, the computer is 30 feet away from the lab, from the bed. So you don't know whether or not the wire is faulty. The wires that you're using when you're attaching it to a patient, you don't know that it's faulty until you go to a computer, which is 30 feet away, and check. So even though you can figure it out through process of elimination, through readjusting wires, you don't really know like how, whether or not a wire should be used. So that's my frame of reference, and I know that because of the way the sleep labs are structured, that would be the biggest market right now. But other markets, such as hospitals and cardiologists, which use wiring to actually assess patients, they use it just as much. Their labs might not be structured the same, but they need to check for impedance to be able to say, you have this diagnosis, you have that diagnosis. If they don't have that, then they're simply fumbling. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. So essentially it's saying, hey, in X amount of time, this product will be no good.
Yeah, so it doesn't give you a time in which the product wouldn't be good, but what it would do is it would send a current through a wire, and then you can touch the wire back to the device, and it'll tell you whether or not it meets a certain threshold. So, for instance, if you have a wire, I don't know if you've ever used a EKG, it's something that's attached to your chest. So you could just plug it in, attach it back to the product, it'll have a battery inside of it, it'll just send a current through it, and if that wire is broken, then you're not going to have any sort of reading from the product at all, from the device.
Okay. So
And if it's perfectly fine, then you'll actually get something.
Gotcha. So this isn't the wiring actually inside the equipment. It's basically the auxiliary between the patient and
Exactly.
the equipment. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I have what I need. No.
All right. So again, good presentation. So one thing to consider, so you talked about EKG as a use case. How does the competition between Bluetooth and wireless healthcare devices impact your business model?
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty funny question because people that I work with always say, okay, well, why don't you use Bluetooth whenever you're using, EKGs or anything like that that's attached to a patient, because like you have no wires at all if you're using Bluetooth. But the thing is, the regulating bodies that regulate the medical industry do not like that because there are too many opportunities for error, too many opportunities for fault. And for instance, there are a lot of things that are used in a sleep lab that don't conduct electricity. They can actually block an electrical current or a magnetic field. So if a patient, for instance, is wrapped up in a rubber blanket, then the Bluetooth electrode doesn't work anymore. It's done. So they have to use wires. They have no choice.
Well, Bluetooth is probably a bad example, but there's new point-to-point sort of wireless communications at specific frequencies that are regulated, that are being allocated for the medical field.
Yeah.
I know I have a client that's working on it, but it's in its early stages, I will say that. But I do think you consider that a competitor.
I will say I didn't mention this, but there are disposable electrodes, and medical technicians can use those. But those end up being more expensive anyway because they have to throw it away after each use. And the Chectrode, the only major competitor, is a $600 price point, and it's not really customized for each specialty. So there just isn't anything in this space right now that's customizable, that's cheap, and that's simple.
Okay. And then one last question I had. So another segment of the market, we talk about sleep labs, right? I have a device on my hand, like an Apple Watch and a phone that measures those types of things as well. And I don't even have to be in a lab, and it can tell me some patterns. So how do you react to something like that?
No.
Because there's a lot of, I'll just say this, I'm testing you a little bit, but there's a lot of transformation going in the market you're trying to attract. So I just want to make sure you're considering the whole market.
The medical field isn't logical. First, the regulating bodies are not logical. They want to know, first of all, that doctors are going to make money, that insurance is going to make money. Something like that would come close to, I think, for instance, Fitbit would like measure your heart rate to tell whether or not you're sleeping, and it can tell you how many times you're going to wake up. But it's not the same, it's not a close enough confidence interval to actually give a diagnosis, and it's a very new technology, and it's something that really isn't going to, make insurances a lot of money. It's not going to make doctors very much money, and it's just something that isn't really feasible for implementation in terms of like medical patient diagnosis. Yeah.
Good presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
So you see it as a niche market, is that what you're saying?
I would
What
say
you're offering?
it.
You're going to measure the impedance of a wire?
Well, specifically wires that are used in the medical field.
In the medical field?
The main product is a niche product, but there are a lot of opportunities to actually improve convenience for medical technicians and save money for labs and hospitals, like all across the board.
Okay.
So there are a lot of opportunities to pivot.
Do you know how large the market is? I mean, is it a big problem out there?
For this product,
Time?
Thank you, Animachi. We were all intrigued by that, and I tell you right now, the competition is getting very stiff, so let's give those that's come up here thus far another round of applause. That was great. Next, we have Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, I'm sorry, I didn't even want to go for it, but Daniel is a computer science major. And he is going to talk about his business idea, GoEve? GoEve.
It's actually connected.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Nkengafak. As stated, I'm a computer science major here at Prince George's Community College. And my idea is called Connected, not GoEve, by the way. Just a hands up, how many of you know about all the different events that are going on in the school currently? You know everything? All of them? Right. Not everyone knows. In your communities, how many of you know about all the events that are going on in those communities? No one knows. The reason why no one knows is because you guys don't know where to access them. The only way to find out about information about events, parties, hangout spots is from your friends or from a flyer. This is very inefficient. We're in the 21st century. If we have an app called Connected that can show us every event that's happening around us, we can easily access that data and know where we're going to go to, where we want to spend our day, and where we want to be. Not only that, but it gives us accessibility and the convenience. We don't have to ask friends. We don't have to look at flyers. We don't have to take time out of our day to find out what we want to do after. All we have to do is go on an application that has all this information for us. Right? Right. So, how will I make money from this application? Well, it really comes down to the advertisement portion of it and working with other institutions. If I work with Prince George's Community College or University of Maryland and tell them that every time a student creates an event, they can post it on my application, and I'll have that event there, and everyone can access that event. If everyone is able to access that event, people are going to be able to visit that event. If people are able to visit that event, I can tell the advertisers that this is how many people I have. You have to pay me for those amount of people. And then if the student has to pay for the event, I get money from that. So I think of it as a triangle. But essentially, it's filling a need that is there, but no one has noticed yet. It's like the middleman. For example, Uber doesn't have cars, yet they pay drivers to drive people around. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm telling people, create your events, right? Create your events. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring people there, and I'm going to bring investors there, and they're going to pay, and you guys are going to end up having more money. And so it's going to be something that a community can use, not just schools, not just Prince George's Community College, but your community can use this application. Not only that, but parks can use this application to create events. Like I said, schools, like I said, you can have this for parties. So really any place you want to go to, they can have this event. They can have this application that shows you all these different events that you can then attend. Thank you.
All right, Daniel, great presentation. but I'm going to jump right in. So you've heard of Eventbrite, Evite, Facebook events. How is your product different?
My product is different because those aren't community-based. So what my product focuses on is our community. Say that Prince George's community students are having an event, SGA is having an event, and students want to know about it. All they have to do is go on the application and find it. Eventbrite has events, but they're not specific to colleges or to parties. Instead, they have events that, you know, are more generalized. I would bring up another competitor. Meetup, thank you. Meetup is more of the professional setting. Meetup has events for students, not for students, sorry, for professionals who are, you know, looking for jobs or looking to understand more about their profession as a whole. So I feel as my app would be specific to the community.
So why not use one of those existing platforms and then focus on community, right? Because like you said, Meetup is professional, but I ride in a bike club. They put our rides on Meetup. So it is, right. But it's unintended uses. So why develop separate technology rather than leveraging what exists?
So I think that the benefit to using my application is that it's more, like I said, community-based, but it's closer to all of us. Everyone in here is a college student. Everyone here is someone around my age group. They know that for them to go out for a party, for them to go out to some random event around the city, they need to know from a friend. If they can find that on my application, then it's even better. Eventbrite, yeah, that exists, but that's different because it's, like you said, it's more of a free-flowing thing. It's not a community-based thing. I want this to be a community-based thing. I want people to come into Maryland and say, where can I hang out? And look in my application and say, this is something that I want to do.
Right, so what I'm saying is, and I'll hand it off, why not create a Daniel community on Eventbrite or Evite? Why have separate technology? Because I feel that what you're pitching exists. I like the aspect of community and it being personalized, but I don't think you need to incur a lot of development costs to accomplish your objective.
The reason why I want to do it is because I feel like I can do it much better than they're doing it currently. I feel like Eventbrite is very limited in its audience group. I feel like Meetup.com is very targeted just to professionals, and so that's why I want to do it in my own fashion.
How are you going to make a profit?
Well, I can make a profit in 3 different ways. I can have public institutions pay me for putting their events on the application. I can have ad sponsors pay me for putting their ads on my application. I can have students or whoever uses the application, if they're paying to go to an event, I get a cut of that. And I also motivate my event creators by having, you know, rewards for them. So if the more people use my application and sign up for the events that are going on, the more advertisers are going to pay me for having more people, the more money I can give to the people creating the events so that they keep creating the events and using my application.
Okay. And finally, how would you use the scholarship funds?
I would use the scholarship to get myself and my teammates better computers. In order to make this application, you need to be able to run Android Studios, and my computer isn't very good at that. And I also use this money to pay for my scholarship at the University of Maryland College Park.
Mark absolutely introduced the ideas that I was saying. This is almost like an Eventbrite where you can purchase tickets and pay a little service fee. It's similar to a Meetup where there is a professional or social aspect to it, because there's definitely some, like the bike club, or, you know, hey, bring your golden retriever, we'll all walk around the park together kind of thing. There's definitely some social aspects. The part that I was going to introduce was if you're talking about keeping it local to Prince George's Community College or something like that, is almost like a next door idea. Are you familiar with that?
So not keeping it local to just Prince George's Community County, but having it grow. It's supposed to be something. It's supposed to grow into a nationwide thing, not just the community. But I'm starting it off from the community.
Gotcha. Trying to figure out how to put this. So I'm a member of a fraternity, and in my college days, we were putting together parties, and there was almost an oversharing of party information. So we had a bunch of people there that we didn't necessarily, that weren't necessarily contributing positively to the environment. How do you address that?
So that right there. So first off, if they want to go to your event and you guys have money, and you guys are asking for them to pay, when they pay and come to your event, And on the app, you can actually rate the people who come in terms of what they're doing or how they're behaving in your description. And then the people in that event can also rate the party. So in a way, you can have 5 stars for a really good party, or you can have like 1 star for it. Depends on your experience. It goes both ways. The event creator gets rated, and the person who comes in gets rated.
That's where I thought you were gonna go to begin with, because I really did, but I don't know how you do that. Do you have like a Starbucks card where like, all right, come in the party, scan yourself in, and then I can be like, hey, he's a.
So on the application, right, you have your user account, right? When you sign up to go into an event, they have that on the list of people who were attending that event, and so they can easily just rate you, easily by clicking it on. It's an added feature on the app, so it's not going to be something that's difficult. It's something that can be done easily.
All right, Daniel, thank you and for helping us all stay connected. All right, next we are going to have Leon Stevenson. Leon is an engineering major, and he is going to present on his his business idea, Rebirth.
Hello, everybody. My name is Leon Stevenson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rebirth. Every year, approximately 3 million people die from various diseases due to them being incurable or lack of proper methods to effectively take them. You can't hear me? Down? I'm sorry. Or lack of proper methods to actually affect them. Pharmaceutical companies provide medications that manage symptoms, but fail to eliminate the problem overall. So this affects me personally because I've lost 2 aunts and my stepmother to cancer. My mother currently has lung cancer, and my sister just beat her 2nd battle with breast cancer. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Personally, I'm tired of losing my loved ones to these diseases, but more importantly, I'm tired of seeing them go through this fight with no solution at hand. So I made my own, which is Rebirth. Rebirth's mission is the development and utilization of nanotechnology for the restoration and optimization of physical health. At Rebirth, we develop nanotechnology that can be implanted into the human body to fight any disease on a molecular level. So we are targeting victims of any viral or terminal illness. Our competitor, Nanoviricides, uses nanoparticles which trick viruses into merging with them and eliminate them from within. Now, the problem with nanoparticles are they are specifically designed to attack certain cells. So for every type of disease, you need a different type of nanoparticle, and they can only be applied using current medical techniques. So if you have cancer or HIV, you'll get a nano-enhanced pill. If you have shingles or herpes, you'll get a nano-enhanced lotion or cream. So essentially, my competitor is just a pharmaceutical company in the making. At Rebirth, we develop nanobots that travel in your bloodstream, and they act as a white blood cell. They can effectively trap any disease and use your own body heat to eradicate it completely. So, sorry. I can eradicate it completely. So, overall, with them, if your infection comes back, you're gonna have to pay for another medicine. With us, 1 implant, and you got 24-hour protection. So, we plan to initially charge $2,000 for this implant, but our overall goal is to have the actual insurance providers cover the initial cost and charge users for additional features such as GPS tracking, real-time body monitoring, diet and exercise analysis, recommendation and feedback. So imagine putting your hands on a podium and knowing exactly every vitamin that your body is deficient in, or let's say you eat a cheeseburger and you know exactly how much weight you gain from it. So they say, why Rebirth? With us, you get guaranteed answers and results. No guesses, no speculation. Why the pitch Gladiator? Well, winning this scholarship ensures that I have the financial resources to make Rebirth a reality. First and foremost, I'm an engineering major who has interest in business and entrepreneurship. But most of all, participating forces me out of my comfort zone because I have a fear of public speaking. That was actually it too.
Yeah, good job.
Just a couple of questions, please, Leon. And I'm not trying to be flippant in some way, but if I want to know how much I've gained weight by eating something, why wouldn't I just get on the scale? How will your product help me there?
Well, scales aren't actually I want to say very, oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
please.
Scales aren't actually very efficient. I mean, they take in, they take in the now, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it takes your body between 12 to 16 hours, I'm sorry, between 4 to 16 hours to properly digest that food and for those calories to be accounted for. So with us, you get exact real time what's going on right now.
And if I don't have the $2,000, how does that work?
So the $2,000, like I said, is what we initially plan to charge, but for us, we actually plan to have the insurance providers cover this charge. The reason why is because they spend $3.7 trillion every year on healthcare costs. $2,000 times 329 million people, which is the U.S. population, is equivalent to $856 billion. A one-time $856 billion charge versus 3.7 million.
No, yes. Since you are using those terms, that's certainly accurate. Let me ask you, so you plan on marketing to the entire population, or do you have a specific target market?
So specifically, we're going after anybody that is a victim of a disease such as cancer or HIV.
Okay, all right. And how would you use the scholarship funds?
So I'm currently an engineering major. So when I go to the University of Maryland, I'm also going to take on entrepreneurship and business. So I'll use the funds as a way to pay for all those additional courses as well, so I can make Rebirth a reality.
Thank you.
So Leon, great presentation and compelling story. Talk to me a little bit about the technology, nanotechnology. Why do you think that will work?
My product solves the problem from the inside out versus everybody else who's trying to solve it from the outside going in.
Okay.
So essentially, I want you to, say you have a body full of cancer cells, for example, right? I want you to picture these robots going in, they're going to meet with the cell, they're going to absorb it, and they're going to use your own body heat to eliminate it. And they're going to trace it to the source and eliminate it at the source, meaning you won't have it anymore at all.
Okay. That's interesting. So the cost for that treatment, you said, is the $2,000 and the insurance provider is going to pay for it?
That'll be the cost of them actually getting the product. The cost to manufacture the product is around $50 million.
$50 million. And I assume the nanobots, like you said, it's like a white blood cell. It goes through the stream. It's gone. It's done.
That's the way we're going to make it function, just like how your regular white blood cells actually go in as your antibodies to fight off these diseases. So we're essentially putting a high-powered or a white blood cell on steroids.
Okay. So my last question, is there anything in your idea, your process, or your technology that's patentable? Like, is that intellectual property you own, or are you going to be taking some other technology for usage, or how? Talk to me about the patent and licensing aspect of what you're talking about.
Actually, every aspect of my idea is patentable. Okay. And we're actually going to develop and create this technology ourselves. So we're not copying anybody. We're doing this all from the starting board.
So you're going to do it at the University of Maryland, not here at the community college, right?
No, sir.
Why not?
I got to graduate first.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
See, you talking about the nanotechnology, you didn't tap into, like, that's my entertainment right there. I love, the Black Mirrors, the Fringe, and all that good stuff. How do you keep it secure? How do you keep these things from being hacked and being used against someone, and then how much does that influence your cost, potentially?
So I think you're more so kind of like referring to AI, and that is when it's autonomous and it functions and it thinks for itself. We're going to program these nanobots to act in a specific manner, but we're also going to have several fail-safes in place so they don't violate any of them.
And then once they're in there, there's no way to extract them, right? So like you have some issue now, you might have a later issue. Do they work in tandem, or would they conflict in some way?
So with us, the way I actually want this process to go is we implant you with this nanobot, and it'll be good for about a good 10 years. So like I said, when I say 24-hour protection, I mean 24-hour protection. You won't have to go back for any type of service.
Gotcha. And is anybody doing this right now? Are they using nanotechnology in pharmaceuticals?
They're
right now?
using the nanoparticles that I described earlier. The nanotechnology that I'm describing hasn't even been invented yet.
Cool. Good job, man.
Thank you.
All right. Adiri is going to present on her Naturally Balanced. Is that the name of the business? Yeah. Adiri, Naturally Balanced. It's providing herbal recipes to women with hormonal imbalances.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Idiri Esiakbe, and I'm a business administration major. So, Imagine having, heavy blood clots, extreme bleeding. This is getting in the way of your work and your school. As women in the crowd, I all know that at one point in our life, we had like a horrible menstrual cycle that we just felt like we could never get out of. I felt that way too. In fact, it was to the point where I was on a hospital bed signing the documents to receive a blood transfusion. With that being said, I'm bringing to you my business, Naturally Dairy. Naturally Dairy is composed of herbal ingredients and products, which contain ashwagandha, maca root, turmeric, and holy basil. These are all ingredients that are used to adjust your hormonal imbalances. So, with that being said, with PCOS, fibroids, which are irregular menstrual cycles that happen to women, my product, my business will be coming to you at a cheap price. It's $40. So the box contains all these ingredients for $40. Well, why can't I get those things anywhere? The thing with the two most important roots that I actually use to help monitor your body and your regular cycle, they're not easily found. And by the way, they are FDA regulated, because I know there are, a lot of, things about, whether or not the product is good for your body and what you're putting in your body is good. So yes, all my products are FDA regulated. Apart from me being a person whereby when I tried using this product, I wanted to see whether or not, it would work good for me. In less than 2 weeks, I completely stopped bleeding, and I was at least almost about to be bleeding for almost a year. So, which was the reason why I needed a blood transfusion. So with me promoting my business and bringing my business Naturally Balanced to you today, is for you guys to, take a deeper look into how can I cure these hormonal imbalances as women in our body. It's very important that we take care of our body, because when we don't, a lot of these irregular menstrual cycles, a lot of these bleeding could lead to infertility. It could lead to blood tumors, it could lead to a lot of health issues. So I'm bringing you with my solution so we can cure this, but in a natural, holistic way. Yes, pharmaceutical companies, when I was going through my own, they recommended a lot of pharmaceutical, prescriptions that did not end up working for me. So this inspired me to find my way. And luckily, it not only worked for me, but a very small group of people which I tested it on, such as my sisters and my friends. And that's my business idea for you today.
So, Adiri, great presentation. Talk to me, so you said it's $40 for the product.
Yeah.
How do you plan to distribute scale? And like, how do you plan to get like market penetration with the product?
How I plan to distribute scale, I'm actually in contact with a few social holistic influencers who I already got in contact with who helped me to push the product as well. I know the holistic industry, when it comes to like insurance and stuff like that, it's a new industry, but at the same time it's on the rise. So a lot of people are looking for collaborations together on how we can cure this problem. So, in order for me to distribute this, social media will be a very big thing, but also holistic wellness centers as well, yoga, meditation centers. I feel like they'll be very much open to promoting my product in their places.
And your product is it one?
No, like I said before, it consisted of like different herbal remedies. Anything, I didn't go into much description on how it would be used, but actually they come in powder form. So you would take it in the form as a tea, and you would drink it every morning and every night.
Right, so it's it's the whole formula
it's the whole
into
form
one
in
thing.
one.
Okay.
Yes.
As a tea.
Yes.
So it's in a powder, so put it in a smoothie or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense to me. And I just forgot how are you going to use the scholarship money?
Funny enough, to build this business, it would really cost $1,000 once I did all my calculations in terms of marketing, how much it is to buy the products, regulations, all this stuff. So really to start it would be $1,000, and in the 4 months, I would start seeing the return because the profit margin is very high. To create the box itself is $10, and I'm gonna sell it for $40. So, just to make sure, yeah.
So once again, I just want to make sure that I understand. Your cost of goods, your cost was how much? And what's the profit margin associated?
All right. So the cost of the goods in itself, individually, when I was pricing them, everything together, so including the bottles, the tea, all the herbal remedies, in order to make it would be $10. So,
$10, okay. And you want your profit margin to be what?
I was thinking around 60%, because if I keep doing it for 4 months, I need a certain amount of customers every month in order to even reach that profit margin, which is 20 customers a month.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
One more question. So, and I think something you said earlier. So say the business booms, how are you going to deal with the scarce herbal remedies, right? So say, you said some of the remedies were scarce or hard to find. How would you manage that supply? Or just some ideas conceptually.
I mean, right now, since I am starting small, I am talking to wholesalers, but I think when I actually get to a point in my business actually booms, I'm actually go to the place where they're developing it and find out how they're developing their stuff and can even make it in my own backyard. Because most of these products are not basically grown in the United States, and if they are, it's specific climate regions that they need to be grown in.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Great point.
Thank you, Deary. Our next presenter is LaShawn White. Come on down, LaShawn. LaShawn is a public health major, and she's going to present on her business idea called InfoShop.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is LaShawn White, and I'm a proud student of the Prince George's Community College, and today I'm here to present my pitch for my business idea, InfoShop. Have you ever purchased an item from a store and then later read a controversial headline about that company supporting an initiative that are opposed to your beliefs? Yes. That overwhelming feeling of post-purchase remorse is associated with not being initially informed about the contributions towards groups that these companies make, the values they hold, and their policies and costs. Most consumers are not equipped with tools to conduct fast, efficient research prior to shopping. So they're left with a sense of uncertainty on whether there's a benefit or consequences to where they buy. My solution is InfoShop. This is a free informational application software, and it will make it easier, save consumers valuable time, and also make it hassle-free in that you no longer have to resort to reading long lists of customer reviews or hours of research. This solution is better than the alternative since it creates a consumer-retailer relationship based off of the shared values that these companies hold, aligned with your values. Unlike Yelp and Google, InfoShop not only provides information on the quality of the product, but also it provides you with information on the core values and contributions that these companies actively support. There is a definite need for this product because over 30% of the total value consumers, which is a amount of over 50 million consumers, experience post-purchase remorse. This product would target consumers that specifically conduct online researches prior to shopping, and it will specifically target groups such as human rights activists, LGBTQ advocates, and different movements and advocacy groups. This product will generate revenue through advertising in the form of video display and banners. And consumers are the behavior, this scholarship will contribute towards acquiring an app developer and my studies. Thank you. Now I'm open for any questions.
All right. You guys always want me to start. All right. Great presentation, Michelle, by the way. So I like your idea of post-purchase depression. Remorse.
Yes.
So how do you, so a lot of purchases, you're assuming, or just bear with me while I get to my question. Purchases are rational versus emotional, right? So there's a rational sort of purchase versus what I buy stuff on emotion, right?
That's called impulsive shopping,
Right.
and then there's a larger percentage of people that conduct planned purchasing now, And most of it is because of like the economy, a lot of people, and also the political climate. Researchers show that a lot of people now, especially in these ages, are shifting from impulsive buying towards really having a thought out process before they shop.
Right, so you're focused on the planned purchase, not the impulsive?
No.
Okay.
My niche target market is people that conduct prior research before they go out shopping. Okay. That's my target market.
All right, and then you said your competitor like Yelp and Google. What about like individual reviews? Like every product site, if you go on like an Amazon, you go on Apple, a lot of these major retailers are sort of having embedded in their, I guess, app or their site this rating and reviews. And the data can be skewed. We all know that. Right? Go fill in a review on my site. How do you protect data integrity of reviews and research on your platform?
Well, one thing what my team at InfoShop is made up of is also the business and research skill that are equipped to take on this task and really maximize this market. So our intention basically is to make sure that our information that we provide are information that are valid, up to date, and we ensure that we're not biased. That's one thing that this app will not do. So we give you the information, and it's up to you and your beliefs to really choose what route you want to do and what company you want to give your money towards.
Which way? All right.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. So your target market, once again, who is your target market?
So I've done my primary research, which involved like reaching out to different groups and asking them how they really conduct their shopping. And I've noticed and gathered that a lot of people that are a part of these advocacy group and movement groups, such as like, Black Lives activists, human rights activists, they don't want to invest their money into a company that they're going like promotes child labor or stuff like that. So these are people that are actively looking at these companies' core values and then deciding whether or not they're going to invest their money into the company.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
I suffer from
Post-purchase remorse.
Purchase remorse
Yes.
every other day. Is your company going to be able to do anything for me, the end of the line customer?
Yes, one thing that we will do, so you go to our app, let's say you're an activist. So you go, you create your profile, you say what are your values, and it's basically the dating app of shopping, because we match you to certain companies that fit your particular preferences. So the next time you go in and shop, you're walking into the store certain that your values are aligned with their core values.
Okay, thank you. And your profit margin, how do you plan on making a profit off this?
So basically, it's a free application software, but most of our revenues and a large percent of free apps are using ad revenues to gain income. So that would be my main interest and main way of revenue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I got one more, and I was going to tee you up for this one. So it seems like your platform has an advocacy component to it.
Yes.
So how do you keep that? So advocacy and business sort of don't mix well. And I'm sure this is a question for you. How do you determine to address that? 'Cause I like the idea. So I'm an activist. I put my data in. I get the brands and people that align with me. But if I'm against that brand or something, how do you protect that nature by bias?
Main example I should bring is Nike. They are definitely an advocacy company. They never shy away from the fact that they also have their beliefs, and they're also people that oppose their belief, but that did not reflect on their profit margin. It didn't really hinder. It actually made people tend to go towards them because they have that aspect of their business. So me creating this marketplace, companies are kind of held accountable. And then it also brings a marketplace for companies to really highlight their values and actually want to put that out there and actually gaining more traction from this. So business actually works well with this advocacy.
No, I appreciate it. I didn't want to go too deep in the weeds into my world. It can get dark very quickly in the lobbying, political world, advocacy, and all that good stuff. And I think I already touched on it, the dark money. Is there some kind of political aspect where you would go after that, or would you just kind of leave it open to where, say, we don't know that they don't contribute?
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
I can clarify it by journalism. Do they really tend to, journalism, their main goal is to provide the fact. And we kind of tend to resort to that also because we're provided facts. It's up to you as the consumer, your hard-earned penny. You decide what you want to do with your money. So we're just giving you the facts that it is, and then you decide.
Gotcha.
Thank you, LaShawn. You're starting to create the conscious consumer. I think I want to be a conscious consumer. All right, next we have Jamal. Jamal is a business management major, and he is going to present on his business idea called Lit Night.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Jamal Bazilio, CEO and founder of Bazilio Business Solutions. Right now I'm seeking a $4,000 investment towards my education and management and entrepreneurship, but also into my business. When the weekend comes, us as young adults, entrepreneurs, and college students, we all want to do the three top things, which is eat, drink, and party. That all comes up with a problem. Our first problem is, how lit is this place? Lit, urban terminology for the excitement of one's actions and emotions. Secondly, what have people said about these, and what are the past reviews? And then lastly, where exactly are these places located? Of the 2,300 nightclubs, bars, and restaurants in Washington, D.C., 15% of those businesses are not surviving past the first year. That's equivalent to about 350 businesses. So to that, came up with a solution to eliminate the decision-making process of our consumers and to help promote the owners. Today, I'd like to introduce Lit Night. Lit Night is a local nightlife business directory service and review site featuring social networking features. Lit Night brings together consumers and owners, our users, those who leave reviews on our site, ages 19 to 30, college students, young adults, and maybe tourists. And our owners, those who use our app as a marketing and management tools to increase revenue through feedback and analytics. Our owners of nightclubs, bars, and lounges, also restaurants. Our main competition right now is Night Out. Night Out is a social ticketing and management event platform tailored towards concerts and festivals, but we consider ourselves as a 3-in-1. We use geolocation through Google Maps to map and measure the areas of lit/vibrant activity. We're Eventbrite, but other than promoting events, we promote the local and physical business itself. And then finally, Yelp. The thing is about Yelp, what they do wrong is they have anonymous and fake reviews. With us, we use social media integration and user profile to not eliminate the amount of fake reviews, but to at least reduce it. The revenue will be created through in-app purchases, fees, advertisement, and monthly marketing subscriptions with these companies. Our basic package starts off at $120 a month. In Washington, D.C., I plan to hit the 350 non-surviving businesses and create a year-long contract with these companies, which will value my business as a $500,000 industry in just the marketing subscriptions alone. Currently, I'm seeking the $4,000 as an investment into my business to eliminate legal fees such as copyrights, patenting, and legal issues, and also to allow me to create and innovate new ideas in the never-ending problems of business. So as I end today, I would like to leave you with this. Life is short, and the night is young. So instead of sitting down wasting time, get up and get lit.
Very good presentation, sir. I take issue with stopping it at 30. I think 33, 34. Give me a year.
There's room for range.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Now, what kind of in-app purchases do you foresee?
So where we can set it out is reservations. So let's say you're going to a restaurant, you can then purchase that reservation through our app. For clubs, you can then purchase your bottling services before you get in, and also create a list of those that you want to go along with you.
Very good, okay. Because I thought you, as somebody that's of the medium persuasion, okay, I'm not short, y'all. When you go up to the bar, it's kind of difficult when it's full seating at the bar and you're, 2-3 people back. So if there was something of that effect, like almost like a Starbucks, like let me get my 3 drinks and I'll just go pick them up kind of thing. That'd be a good move. And then you said you'd use the scholarship to invest in the app?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And are you furthering your education after?
Yes, I am. My education is currently in management and entrepreneurship, and I'll be furthering my education at University of Maryland College Park.
So again, great presentation, and I think you've had one of the most eloquent definitions of lit that I've ever heard. So let's talk a little bit about your competitors. You know, so there's so you named a couple, but there's an app called Urban Daddy, right? I don't know if you've looked at that, but they've got national traction, raised some money. It's similar to what you're saying. I think yours is more culturally sensitive, but how will you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs? Because there's a lot of this, what I call party automation apps that are coming out there. So again, like I asked the other presenter, why not create something for your community on an existing platform rather than develop something from scratch?
So the thing is, with our app, we're integrating all the other apps. But what Visa with price is, we actually price match these other competitors. And currently for Night Out, they're evaluating their monthly subscription packet at $150, but for us, we're starting at $120.
Okay. So do you know anything about the market penetration of Night Out and things like that? How much of that market do you intend to capture? 'Cause it seems like you mentioned that as your major competitor. Is your strategy to take market share from Night Out or to aggregate and go to a different market?
So with Night Out, they're tailored towards the ticketing platform, so they're promoting events such as the concerts and festivals. Along with us, we're not going to be mostly focusing on concerts and festivals, but we do have the ability to promote those events. That won't be our physical revenue stream.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. A great presentation, Jamal. Great. I just want to make sure that I understand. I'm from Planet Elsewhere. I just arrived here, and I'm looking for a place where I can eat, drink, and party.
Yes.
Okay. How will I find your app?
So the first thing you're going to do, my app is going to be available through our website, Apple, iOS, and Android, Google Play, Google stores. So you will then have to go and download our app, create a user profile. You can either link it to your social media or create a new profile. You can say your age, your demographics, and what you're interested in. The types of DJs, the types of restaurants, and maybe the demographics of these bars.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Jamal, that was lit. Like it. All right, so we're winding down. So now we are ready for Daisy Noel. Daisy? Okay. Daisy is a general studies major with an emphasis in government and politics, and she is going to talk to us about her new idea of Daisy's Farm.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daisy Noel Dufour, founder and CEO of Daisy's Farms, an urban aquaponics system located in Southeast Washington, D.C. About 11% of D.C.'s population lives in the food desert, and the majority of said population live in Southeast and Southwest D.C. My company seeks to alleviate this problem by creating an urban organic aquaponics farm. What is aquaponics? Aquaponics is a symbiotic system which integrates aquaculture, the farming of fish, with hydroponics, the farming of plants, and a nutrient-dense water system. In my system, we're going to use the organic matter produced by the fish to grow the plants. The plants in turn are going to purify the water which gets sent back to the fish. Because of this, we use 95% less water than outside farming. And because we're in a closed environment, we grow our products yearly. Year-round, we're growing products at a faster rate, double the produce amount, and it's organic. My company seeks to advertise our products through community-based organizations such as churches, youth groups, social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and extensively through our website. Our company is also going to accept SNAP benefits and WIC users. With an initial investment of $16,000, we will be able to set up our system of 24,000 square feet and 10 feet high, a vertical system, with 16,000 plant spaces and 6 fish bowls. And with this, we will be ready for setup in 2 months. And in 3 months of selling our products, that is after the initial 2 months, we will be able to make a profit on our products. I would use this scholarship to further my education and give me a steady mindset to focus on my business and solving the problem of food desertification in Washington, D.C. Thank you for considering Daisy's Farms and investing in sustainable and organic agriculture.
great presentation.
Thank you.
How many people do you think you can serve in a given, I know you're doing year-round, but whatever you would consider a growth season?
So starting out, we will be able to produce 600 units we'll be able to produce 750 units of vegetables with the intent of possibly selling 600 of those units, and that's on a weekly basis, and 68 pounds of fish. So we will intend on selling those units of an average customer. We'll be looking at an average of 68 customers a day. We sell 2 days a week on the weekends because we're new. So they come in, and if they buy 2 pounds of fish and 3 units of vegetables, we'll be able to sell 600 units over that weekend, and we'll be able to break even for the first 2 months, and into the 3rd month, we'll be making a profit.
And who are your major, and how do you determine your competition? Because I know you have like Charm City in Baltimore and a couple of these local, what they call it, CCAs, community farm aggregation, something like that.
So I'm looking to be located in Southeast Washington, D.C., and competition of aquaponics or hydroponics or aeroponics, any of that type of agriculture isn't really there. There are only 3 grocery stores in Ward 7 and Ward 8. So we're looking to solve that problem in that specific area. Our competitors will be Giant, Harris Teeter, and the other grocery stores, or the local convenience stores. Those will be our competitors in that area.
So again, great presentation. So talk to me about distribution, right? So you said, okay, it takes you about 3 months to turn a profit, but it seems like you're gonna have to have your own distribution network. If you're saying the Giants, the Harris Teeters, and come back out, how are you gonna distribute your product? And what products would you start with?
Okay, so Southeast DC has a problem of what they call abandoned dominions, so empty buildings, and the owners of those buildings pay higher taxes. So I'll go to such a person and I'll propose to them, hey, let me use your building for such amount of period of time to have my farm. On the first floor or the first 2 floors, I'll be growing my products, basic products such as lettuce, dill, and spinach, tomatoes, just basic vegetables that this community is used to. I'll also have corn, potatoes, and I'll let them know, rent your thing to me at a lower price so that you will pay lower taxes on the building while waiting for the value to go up. And we're going to sell the products on the first floor of our building on the weekends. On Saturdays and Sundays, we'll be open for 8 hours selling our products to the consumers.
Okay. All right, so it'll only be available on the weekends, is what you're saying?
Yes, yes, as a startup, that will be the volume myself and my other employee will be able to handle.
Okay. All right, and how are you sure you want to use the scholarship funds again? I'm sorry.
This would go towards my education. It will help me concentrate, not having to worry about extra money for my education. It will help me concentrate on, the business and school solely. I also have to seek grants from DC grants. I also spoke to the Department of Health in DC, and they said that they do have programs that support business initiatives as mine. So I'll be using that as funding for my business.
Okay, thank you.
And just one question, please, Daisy, if you don't mind. Profit. How are you going to make a profit?
We're going to make a profit by selling our products to our customers. So you come into the store and you buy tomatoes, tilapia, which will be the starting fish because of its price. The return on and the growth rate of tilapia will make me make a return on that easily, and it's more common. So we sell tilapia, we sell tomatoes, lettuce.
And you grow all this yourself?
We grow all of this on the first and second floor. Bring it down to the 3rd floor on Saturdays and Sundays, and we're selling to the public. That's our revenue stream.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we work extensively in this space, helping with food deserts and many community issues. I would strongly encourage you explore a nonprofit aspect to this as well to help out people on subsidized income and food vouchers and stuff like that, so that you can go for government grants to also offset some of your costs and help out as well.
Yes.
That's a good plan.
All right. Thank you.
Next, we have Eric. Eric, come on down. Now, Eric is a communications major, and he is going to present on his business idea called Quiet Storm Content Strategies.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I'm Eric Ross. I'm the founder and lead creative of Quaststorm Content Strategies. So I'm a sophomore here at the college, currently at my final leg of my transfer process, in which I'll be ending up my process at the University of Maryland, studying communications. And by that, I'm saying that I've come up with the problem of who am I? What does that look like? Basically self-discovery. And I think that everyone deals with self-discovery to some level, or understanding identity. But so the problem that I realized is that most small business owners actually are struggling with discovering their virtual identity through branding as well. So by that, I plan on working with small business owners from the ages of 35 to 41, which are your encore entrepreneurs, as well as working with young entrepreneurs from the ages of 25 to about 31. And then not forgetting about those Generation Z entrepreneurs who have aspiring dreams as well from young ages of 16. So speaking on my revenue streams open up from doing basic things like photography, logo design, invitations, digital portfolios, which are EPKs, and those are my wants. My wants are things that people will always pay, well, I apologize, my needs, those are the needs. Needs are things that people will always pay for. Then break it down into my wants, which are things that are more or less the bells and whistles, like your highlight icons or your theme posts. Moving towards my competition, by doing my research, I realized they lure people in by just basically decorating their websites with icons of their clients, mainly corporate-based. But what about the space for those small startups? And those small startups open up to about 592,100 a year. So in order to be competitive, I want to help them out and help them create their brand. And I say create their brand, I talked about self-identity because I feel as though being different by personal style, photography, and logo design will help me become comfortable being uncomfortable, and I can help implement that into other businesses. And I say that because self-identity is a huge thing and branding is a huge thing. And that's my presentation.
Hey, Eric.
Hello, Mr. Lawrence.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
So, again, we've talked about this. So your business revolves around storytelling, right?
Correct.
And traditionally, people, like, say, me as an entrepreneur owner, I want to own that in-house. How are you going to scale to do that for multiple clients?
So in terms of scalability, that's a great question, by the way, Mr. Lawrence. So we talked about scalability a few times with my coaches, and I feel as though that I can operate at full capacity alone at about 3 clients, and I say 3 clients for full-time social media management. That's one of the revenue streams that I didn't mention, but that's more of a bell or whistle. It's not really a need. So once I get to the point, if I reach about 5, that'll be the point that I'll open up in terms of outsourcing, working with maybe one of my classmates and hire them as a consultant to help me with small jobs like photography or the logos, depending on the need of the client.
How do you separate yourself or distinguish yourself from those that are, that have a full-time job but do stuff like this on the side?
So, great question as well. When I mention encore entrepreneurs who I think would be my early adopters, and the early adopters, a lot of them that I've been noticing are making that transformation from working in the traditional workplace to now becoming consultants because they have that repertoire. And the way I'll separate myself is by really picking up on those. And if I can get those, I'll go by saying that I don't have to work with everyone, but if I work with the right one, that will give me the perfect legitimacy and become a household name, thus creating a quiet storm.
How do you find that right one?
I find that right one, but right now I'm doing referrals based off of just the conversation I have with one of my mentors. I'm already doing the research on some of those clients that I know I want to work with, like speakers. My mom is here, she's becoming a small speaker now, and I'm coming to them already with items ready for them in terms of this is what I think I can implement to your brand. I'm already doing my research and I'm already paying attention to their Instagram insights, if that makes sense to you, based off of and I'm creating my strategies off of your own Instagram insights, helping you create a more targeted and involved audience, increasing your comments, as well as producing more shareable more shareable content. I'm not sure if you all are, how familiar you are with Instagram, but Instagram is about in the process of deleting the like count in terms of you won't be able to see, but even though your content, if it's shared, people are saying, check this out, that'll help you move up in terms of SEO and other things of that nature.
Thank you. Eric, thank you. Once again, how do you plan on making a profit?
So moving back to my revenue streams, I appreciate your question again. I don't mind answering that for you. So my revenue streams actually are bundles. So they're bundles as well as personally itemized packages. And like I said, the needs are things that'll happen all year round. I think that one of my big contribution margins will come from photography, because if you think about it seasonally, that the demand for it can fluctuate. It can go up, meaning things like prom season, I can make a lot more money, but then things like logos, which are right now my loss leader, I'm pretty much giving them away in comparison to my competition because I'm well below market price. But once I get that mass and that right portfolio, the prices is definitely going up, people.
Okay, Eric, I believe you. What about your competitors?
So my competitors right now, I would say the big ones are not only my classmates, but those do-it-yourselfers who are using small things like other apps and of that nature. And you notice some of their content might be blurry or barely even legible at times. But me, I'm personally using professionalized, approved software, things like Adobe Illustrator. By saying that your quality of your graphics that you're receiving, they don't decrease. They don't decrease, or it doesn't matter how much you scale it up or scale it down. So you're getting qualified graphics.
Okay, thank you.
One last question. How are you going to use the scholarship funds?
So I think that $4,000 that I rightfully deserve would be a good budget for me to do a branding workshop. And that branding workshop, I definitely want to include a lot of my classmates on that. And I think that would be a good budget for about 25 people.
Great, Eric. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. All right, I think we are down to our last presenter. So can I have Shane? All right. Shane is a business administrations major, and he is going to present on his business turnaround mentorship.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shane Perry. I'd like to thank you all for taking time out to come and listen to my business pitch. I'm grateful for this opportunity. So first off, I want to touch on the problem and the background of turnaround mentorship and what it means to me and why it's important. I've personally experienced the negative implications, the negative things that affect our students today in the public system, in Prince George's County public system, and how it can lead those students down the wrong path and they can spiral down the wrong road. I've experienced this firsthand. I've found myself in the wrong places at the wrong time, being influenced by the wrong people, and these occurrences, they affected my life. It almost ruined all aspects of my life. It almost took my life. There was one point in my life where I made a turnaround. This turnaround came through one encounter with one organization and a couple of mentors. So this is the exact goal that Turnaround Mentorship has: to make a difference in the children's lives of our community, Prince George's community, and making a difference in their lives and those children who went down the wrong road, who had past bad experiences, those children who people think that they have no hope, they have no future. Turnaround Mentorship, our vision is to address the staggering the statistics concerning drug and alcohol abuse among the teens, among the youth, among the increases in underage arrest. We'll address these problems and we'll tackle them. We'll do this by implementing an intuitive fellowship curriculum with all of our youth. The curriculum will cover the 4 areas of family, finances, health, and education. These areas are critical in the foundation of our youth today. They'll help position all of our mentees with the foundation for unlimited growth and development, despite their past experiences that may have hindered them from even hoping or dreaming to fulfill their professional and educational successes. The curriculum will consist of, and we'll focus on family. A lot of the underage arrests are coming in, arrests in the household. They're disrespecting their parents, their counselors, their mentors, everything like that. We'll focus on finances. We'll teach our students. We'll prepare them for their future, for the real world, like taxes, like interest rates, the benefits of buying rather than renting, and things like that. Health will be a major topic, allowing our students to develop drug-free practices and things like that. And then the final one is education. We'll help our students with the process of applying for colleges, going for scholarships, and things like that.
Shane, great presentation, man, and I salute you for identifying, something negative in your past and wanting to make a difference and being here today, man. That's huge, really.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. How are you going to make a profit?
Well, this will be a non-profit organization, but we will seek funding through government funding and corporate funding and things like that. We'll submit our proposals to try and work with the public school system and seek our funding through that way.
Okay. And how are you different from, let's say, like a Boys and Girls Club of YMCA or some of those community-based organizations that are also occupy the space?
We're different from those. I've personally been through some programs or organizations like that, whereas I had to take those programs in order to stay into the public county school system. And what will make us different is we're actually focused on the youth. We're going for those wayward youth, those who are getting in trouble, those who nobody really wants to deal with. And we're coming from, all of our mentors will be closer to the youth as far as age and their experiences, like myself, who've gone through those experiences, who's lived in their environment not too long and far from them. I personally work with mentors who were a lot older than me. These are people who haven't really, they may have gone through it, but not in the same context that I have, not in the environment that I have, and this will make us to stand out than all of our competitors.
Sure. Awesome, man.
And again, I do salute you for using something from your past and turning it around. So I guess mine is a comment/question, because I think in the model you're in the space you're in, you're the brand and you're the differentiator. So I think you need to get with Eric to tell your story a little better and get that out there, because there are a lot of mentorship programs, but people gravitate toward the leader. So you can build the infrastructure below you. So, and also from a profit perspective, even though it's a nonprofit, there's a lot of money being invested in that, because those are the folks that we forget about in society, and we the second chance is a bad word for it, but I do think you need to think like a profit-based business and different revenue streams. Don't think you're going to grant your way out of the problem, but look for operating it as a business built on your brand.
Once again, a great presentation, Shane. How would you use the scholarship funds?
The scholarship funds, I would use them. I've been covered gracefully. My scholarship tuition has been covered, and most of it is covered. So I would use the scholarship funds to help start this business. We're actually starting. We haven't registered or anything like that. One thing that I did research on, there's a lot of mentor tutoring and career service programs that you can take. One was a national mentor and training certification. That one costs $1,500 per mentor. So I was seeking to enroll into that program with the funds, and also one of my other top mentors who is also here with me. We will also enroll into that program. And we're also working with students now. Funds could start. We're only working with 3 or 4 students right now, so we can help them with the college applications and things like that of that nature.
All right, Shane, thank you so much. We have concluded all of our presentations for this afternoon. I want to kind of end on this note, that each of you that presented today, I want you guys to lean on each other as a resource, collaborate with each other. I think Mark started to make a good point. He said, Shane, you need to get with Eric to help build a better brand, but you also need to get with LaShawn, who can help connect you to those corporations who have the same values that you are exhibiting, and therefore you can then work with them to help with the corporate funding to help support this initiative. Also, the college has other resources for you guys that want to continue to further develop your idea. One is the Center for Entrepreneur Development and Training. We are launching an innovation hub coming this fall where some of you can actually bring your projects to the innovation hub and we can help you further develop your prototypes. Some of you may even want to work in the innovation hub because you have that computer science background. One of you guys were building apps. So we can collaborate together as a community. But I want to commend each of you who got up here today and presented your idea. You guys did a fantastic job, and if we can give them one more round of applause and even a standing ovation if you don't mind. So now we're going to take about a 15 to 20 minute break. We're going to let our judges deliberate, and it's going to be a tough one, I know, but please feel free to go outside and grab some water or something to eat while the judges make their decisions.
All right. And just if I could say a couple words, because I've been doing this for a couple years, this is the part of the bitch Gladiator I sort of hate, right? Because while we're about to deliberate and announce some winners, I think you're all winners. But just to give you a little bit more background, when you look at the community college and look at the resources here, when you just look at it in general, my passion is creating more on-ramps for you to explore your ideas. So you may have not made the selection today because it's really on what ideas we think are ready or mature, but I encourage you all to continue because I'm an entrepreneur that helps entrepreneurs. It's hard. It takes courage to have a passion to solve a problem. It takes courage to stand up in people and express your idea. It takes courage to receive constructive feedback, destructive feedback. So I think you just keep pressing on. And the goal is, you may not win today, and I know you hear this, all these competitions, everyone's a winner. Everyone truly is a winner, because as long as you're about entrepreneurship, about solving problems for your community, about creating wealth for yourself, you are true winning. And I do think the community college often gets overlooked as a place where this happens, and you guys are evidence that it's alive and well. So thank you to everyone.
I'll start with a little quote by St. Francis of Assisi. It said, "A laborer is someone who works with their hands. A craftsman works with their hands and their head. And an artist works with their hands, their head, and their heart." What you saw today was a display of entrepreneurial talent. People who intend to work with their hands, their heads, their hearts, and their money, and other people's money. And that's very significant because today, other people's money will be given to those entrepreneurs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be here to listen to all of these presentations by our students. You have done an excellent job. And I would like to present to you, I'm Dr. Lorraine Pratt-Bissett. I am the coordinator for the Business Collegiate Center and a faculty in the Business Studies area. On behalf of the Business Collegiate Center, who's funding this $500 cash award, I present to you Mr. Eric Ross, this particular award. It is our pleasure. And I'd also like to thank the audience for being here to be a part of this presentation. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, Joe Sanchez from Capital One, she's going to speak, give a few words, because this money, in large measure, and this grant is Capital One's money. So we thank you and ask you to say a few words.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe Sanchez and I am with Capital One's Community Development Banking team, and my role at Capital One is to work with community-based organizations to support small business development. And so we are proud to be able to support this program and to be able to offer this grant to this program so that we can support your continuation of your education as well as your continuation on your business ideas. And I encourage you to utilize all of the resources that you've heard about today at the school and in Prince George's County and in the region. And if you want to continue to learn about resources to develop your business ideas, I'm more than happy to share some additional resources through the organizations that we partner with. So thank you.
So without further hesitation, the Pitch Gladiator competition final winners. Fourth place prize for $1,000 is Leon Stevenson. Great job, Leon. Leon also participated in the Coach My Pitch program, and his coach was Tremaine Davis, in absentia. Do you want him to stay there for a group picture? Or, yeah. The third place winner for $1,300 is Daisy, and go for it. Daisy was also someone who participated in the Coach My Pitch program. And her coach is here, Ms. Kathy Orr. Second place for $2,000 is LaShawna White. Common theme, LaShawn also participated in the Coach My Pitch program. Her coach is here as well, Ms. Catherine Orr. And first place for $4,000, the winner of this year's Pitch Gladiator competition, Jamal Basilio. Jamal also participated in the Coach My Pitch program, and his coach is here as well, Miss Catherine Orr.